Our government was founded on checks and balances and separation of powers. And there is no check of the judiciary, none whatsoever.
Absolutely.
What is a judge? A judge is an attorney in a black robe. And attorneys are one of the least trusted professions in this nation, just above car salesmen and members of General Assembly and members of the Congress. So we're going to slap a black robe on them and call them Your Honor, and we're going to trust these guys, right? How stupid are we? I mean, Hamilton in Federalist 83, magistrates are easily corrupted. Why do you think they put that we have a right of due process and that we have a right to a trial by jury? We put a jury in there to decide because we don't trust the judge, because magistrates are easily corrupted.
In 1822, Governor Carroll, our third governor for Tennessee, he said a well-regulated independent judiciary is so essential to the character of a state that it has a strong claim on your attention at all times. That was to the General Assembly, our third governor, because they had huge problems in the judiciary even back then. This matter before the body is to approve the rules for the Tennessee Board of Judicial Conduct. The fact of these constitutionally repugnant rules that I will lay bare momentarily are prima facie evidence that this agency's intent is to conceal and protect judicial misconduct and criminal conduct, and why our founders prohibited second offices of trust to prevent corruption.
If you try to sue a judge who violates your rights, you will never get anywhere with it, and you cannot enforce your right of due process. Thomas Jefferson knew this was going to happen. In 1821, Thomas Jefferson said, "The destruction of our nation is in the power of the judiciary, an irresponsible body working like gravity by night and by day, gaining a little today and a little tomorrow, and advancing its noiseless step like a thief over the field of jurisdiction, until all shall render powerless the checks of one branch over another, and shall become as venal and oppressive as the government from which we separated." As venal and oppressive as the government from which we separated. Venal means influence for sale. And that's what justice is today, is it's for sale.
Chairman Sanderson, you recognize, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Gentry, you heard the testimony or the presentation from the sponsor of the bill, and he contends that this is a bill that we need, and you contend it's not a bill that we need. That puts us in conflict. And so how do we disseminate between what you say and what he says?
You recognize Mr. Gentry.
Well, thank you for asking that, Representative Sanderson. The next point I was going to make is the rules of professional conduct require a lawyer who knows that another lawyer has engaged in misconduct shall report them to the Board of Professional Responsibility. And the same is in Rule 10, Code of Judicial Conduct. A judge that knows of attorney misconduct shall report them to the appropriate authority. So here we have a complete breakdown. We've got an attorney filing a frivolous lawsuit. We've got opposing counsel who is failing to report them for ethical violations, as well as the judge. The whole thing has broken down. If we want to solve frivolous lawsuits, it's not through a slap bill like this. I would encourage, and I would be honored to assist in drafting a bill to properly address this problem. And to do that would be to fine and sanction the attorneys from both sides and the judge who are involved in a frivolous lawsuit that don't report that misconduct to the Judicial Oversight Agency or to the Board of Professional Responsibility. So that's the conflict, is we need to start enforcing the ethical rules and start to heal our nation of the misconduct that's happening in our courts. And the Board of Judicial Conduct operates in the dark, without any transparency and without any oversight whatsoever. Let's get to the heart of the matter, and for that we need to look to our Declaration of Independence. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasion on the rights of the people. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution unacknowledged by our laws, giving assent to their acts of pretended legislation, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally our forms of government. And the existence of the Board of Judicial Conduct has called, these are declared acts of tyranny. And if you think back to when they wrote that Declaration of Independence, why did they write for abolishing our most valuable laws and altering our fundamental form of government? I'd be happy to explain further in Q&A if you have questions for me. Since its inception, the Tennessee Board of Judicial Conduct has never once recommended impeachment, and seldom do they even bother to reprimand for criminal conduct. I've provided the members 2 handouts, Auditor's Compilation Report and a CNN investigative report. Those documents prove that the judiciary is incapable of self-government and that 100% of complaints filed by non-legal professionals are dismissed, and it is impossible that all complaints are without merit. The facts show, and I have sworn this same uncontested statement in federal courts, including the Supreme Court of the United States, that the Board of Judicial Conduct aids and abets rights violations and federal crimes perpetrated under color of law, and they are guilty as principle. They're criminals protecting criminals. I also know, I'm a CPA, I know Chairman Roberts is, or Senator Roberts is as well. I've gone through the entire 800, 900-page budget. I can't find any cost for the Board of Judicial Conduct. It appears to me buried in a separate line item in the budget. I couldn't find it. I'm a CPA. The Board of Professional Responsibility is there. I don't know if it costs the state. Certainly it costs at least lease for the office or something. But if you have questions for me, I'm probably one of the top experts in this country about judicial misconduct and the misuse of these judicial oversight agencies. So I welcome questions. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Since its inception in 1971, Tennessee's judicial oversight agencies have not impeached a single judge. Your first handout is an auditor's compilation report. It's across 18 states. And this auditor's compilation report proves that they dismiss 100% of complaints filed by non-legal professionals. I flagged a section in that report. It's actually Kentucky's report, but it's the same story everywhere. You can see on the chart, they're all filed, majority of the complaints are filed by litigants, and it's due to legal error. It's not legal error. These judges know the law. It's false application of law due to bias or conspiracy to deprive rights very often is what's causing this. That's why we need to protect people by bringing this power back to the House. We recently had Tennessee Judge Casey Moreland was sentenced in federal court. He bribed the police officer $6,000 to plant drugs in the trunk of a car to be discovered in a staged traffic stop. Casey Moreland was diagnosed with mental disorder since 2009. He moved out of his marital home due to infidelity, had alcohol problems, and the Board of Judicial Conduct admitted receiving and dismissing
your 4 minutes are up. Since you've been so courteous today with all we've done, if you'd like to take 1 minute and wrap up, I'll be glad to accommodate you in that regard.
Thank you very much for that, sir. So multiple complaints were received and dismissed against Moreland. In the petition of remonstrance, I've included a complaint that was filed with the Board of Judicial Conduct that was wrongfully dismissed.
Mr. Gentry, if you're not going to address the bill, then I'm going to cut you off. We're not here to try the remonstrance.
We're creating a new judicial oversight agency, the Board of Professional Responsibility now. It has the same function as the Board of Judicial Conduct. And what I'm addressing with these facts is this agency is not doing its job. It's in violation of the separation of powers doctrine. They are exercising powers not granted to them, and they're holding a second office of trust that they shouldn't have. And I'm imploring this committee and the House and the Senate that we need to return this power back to the legislature.
Thank you. Thank you. We went a little over, but with the courtesies that he's shown today, I felt like we owed him that. So thank you. Thank you for your participation. All right, now do we have a motion on the bill? Back in session.
Mr. Chairman, without any objection, I'd like to take that
All right.
Bill off notice.
Off notice.